Hello, my name is Katie and welcome to my year in books. I've been working on this video for a very long time and I'm finally here to film it. All these books, most of them were downstairs and I had to lug them all the way up the stairs. So let's just appreciate the stacks. These are not all of the books I read this year, but they are almost all of them. Some of them I just don't have physical copies of. So the plan for this video is to look at some stats for my reading year, and then maybe talk about some goals. First things first, in 2020 I read 175 books, which is kind of a lot more than I had anticipated. I think it was because there was so much quarantining that I just wasn't going anywhere. That was a total of 66,106 pages, which is a lot. The average book length was 377 pages, which makes sense. I think that is about more or less average of what I read. The shortest book was The Selected Poems of Emily Dickinson. It was 116 pages. And the longest book that I snuck in at the end of the year was Anna Karenina at 803 pages. The most popular book I read this year was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho? Oh my god, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I should have looked it up. And then the least popular book was The Crown Volume 2. It's the companion to the show. Hopefully I've been putting up either here or here, I don't know, wherever it fits when I'm filming or when I'm editing. But yeah, the most popular book was shelved by 3,536,682, which is a lot of people. And then the least popular was only shelved by 1,548, which is not very many people. My average rating for 2020 was 3.8 stars. But I was kind of experimenting this year with just not rating anything for a while, so it's a little bit off because there are a lot of books that I probably should have given a rating to that I had strong enough feelings about to give a rating to. I just didn't because I just wanted to see if that changed how I felt about the books I was reading, if I was less stressed about it or more stressed about it. Honestly, it didn't make much of a difference, so I don't know, take that for what you will. The book I read this year that was the highest rated on Goodreads was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. It has an average of 4.51 stars, which is rightfully earned. It definitely deserves it. The lowest rated was Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. It has an average of 3.12 stars. I disagree with that. I gave it 5 stars because I loved it, but to each his own. It definitely has its audience, and it is a very niche one. Okay, let's go into some, I guess, age group breakdowns. In 2020, I read 8 middle grade books, 29 YA books, and 138 adult books. Wow, that's a large difference. So 79% of my reading was of adult books, 17% young adult, and 4% middle grade. I am actually fine with that. I don't really care. Like, I don't typically have goals to read more or less of anything when it comes to age ranges. I just read what I'm interested in. My nonfiction to fiction breakdown was 18% nonfiction and 82% fiction. I think as far as goals for 2021, I would like to bump that up to 20% of my reading to be nonfiction. I don't feel like 2% is going to be too difficult to accomplish, so I'm gonna make that my goal for 2021. Let's see. Oh, the genre breakdown. This one's interesting. I read 32 nonfiction books, 12 fiction books, and by fiction, I'm kind of lumping things like literary fiction and contemporary together because I didn't read enough of either one, I thought, to really bother separating it. Plus, as I've mentioned before, I really hate the term literary fiction. I feel like it sounds really highbrow and unreachable and whatever else. So I avoid using it, so we're just going with fiction. 39 books were historical fiction, which doesn't surprise me at all because I love that genre. What does surprise me is that I read 43 fantasy books this year. That's a lot. I didn't think I read that much fantasy because overall I don't think I enjoy fantasy that much. But yeah, that's what it shook out to be. 10 books were science fiction, which I thought I'd have more sci-fi on there. But oh well. 33 were in the mystery thriller category, which also doesn't surprise me. And then I read 6 classics, which does surprise me because I don't feel like I typically read much in the way of classics. So I think for 2021, I'm going to have a goal to read just more than 6 classics. Because I'm really enjoying reading classics, so I think we're gonna do that. This next one's a little bit funny. I did a breakdown for what percentages were audiobooks, ebooks, and physical books. I read 1 ebook, so it didn't even show up on the pie chart. But that's why my physical books are at 90.9%. It's that 0.1 that went to ebook. And then 159 of my books were physical, which does that surprise anybody? Look at this mess. Okay, so the next thing I did, and I thought this was really fun, is I broke down the publishing dates of all the books that I read this year, just to see, I guess out of curiosity, how many were new releases and how many were backlist and how many were classic works. So the oldest book was published in 1853. I really should have written down which books were which because I don't remember now. And that's unfortunate. Oh well, we'll make that a goal for next year to write these things down. But yes, 1 book in 1853, 1 in 1877, 1 in 1890, 1 in 1932, 1 in 1938, 1 in 1946, 1 in 1950, 1 in 1959, 1 in 1980, 1 in 1982, 1 in 1988, 1 in 1992, which is the year I was born, 1 in 1999, which is the year my little sister was born, 3 from the year 2000, 2 from 2001, 2 from 2002, nothing from 03, 1 from 2004, nothing from 05, 2 from 2006, 2 from 2007, 1 from 2008, none from 2009, interestingly enough, 3 from 2010, 4 from 2011, 4 from 2012, 4 from 2013, then I had 6 from 2014, which is surprising to me, but okay, I'm really not mad at it. From 2015, I had 7. You can see it ramping up as the release dates get more recent. 2016, I read 10 books from 2016, which kind of surprised me. And then I read 16 from 2017, 29 from 2018, 31 from 2019, and 34 from 2020. Not really surprised about any of that, really, because the bulk of my reading really has been either new releases or stuff that I just didn't get to in 2019 or stuff that I didn't get to from 2018. So I'm really not at all shocked about that. So yeah, those are some stats I gathered. One of my goals for 2021 is to just keep a better record of all the books I'm reading, the ratings I'm giving. I want to kind of like annotate if they're new releases, debut authors, backlists, if it's an author that's new to me. Just a whole bunch of other things that I think would be interesting to keep track of and just to see maybe how my reading is changing over the years. If you have any other ideas for statistics you would like me to keep, just things you would like to see about my reading, let me know. I can definitely add other ones. These are just some of the things that I recognized that I thought would be cool to keep track of and to know at the end of the year. As far as the other goals, I already mentioned the classics. I read 6 this year. I would like to read at least 7. in 2021. And then I read 18% of my reading was nonfiction, and I would like to bump that up to 20%. The other thing I want to focus on is I want to read more books by Indigenous authors. I have a few on my radar. I have a couple that I've already ordered and I'm waiting to come in the mail. So if you have any recommendations for books written by Indigenous authors, and it doesn't have to be just like natives to North and South, or North America, it can be South America, it can be Australia, it can be whatever, really. I don't super have a preference there. I just want to focus on that for 2021. And then another goal that I have, which is kind of a random one, but just bear with me, is I want to read books and then watch the movie adaptations. I did that a little bit this year and had some discussions with a friend of mine, and we had such a good time doing that. I don't know why I haven't, maybe because I haven't had friends who read until this year, or until 2020, gosh, that's getting complicated to say, but I've never gotten so much enjoyment out of reading books and then watching the film adaptations before. So now that I do have friends who read and also watch the similar kind of movies that I do, I think I would like to make a focus on doing more of that, where I read the book and watch the film. So I'm gonna put that down as a goal. I'm not gonna put a number on it for myself because this is not something I've ever really kept track of or thought about in the past. I'm just gonna make it something that I want to do going forward. That is it for the stats that I kept in 2020. There probably would have been more, but I didn't even start my channel until August. So that's more than half the year where I wasn't reading with the intent to even ever talk about the things that I read. So next year, hopefully, I'll have a little bit more stat keeping and a little bit more just information for you guys about what I read and what my focus is, things of that nature. Once again, if you have any recommendations for me for any other stats that you would like to see me discuss and keep track of, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will definitely keep that in mind. I've made several spreadsheets for this year for keeping track of my reading. Nerds love spreadsheets. And then that's it, for my goals as well. I said not that many of them. I just have a couple things I want to improve. I assume next year, given that I'll have had a whole year and a half on BookTube, I'll probably be a little more specific with my goals because I'll have more of an idea of where I want this channel to go. If you're new here and you like my content, subscribe. Stick around. I'd love to see you in my comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.